Safety triangle. Safety triangle. There's no industry that you'll be working, even in your house, that you will not be exposed to risky situations. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. So your ability to manage your environment, do away with hazardous things is key to protecting your life, the life of your staff, the equipment, and the environment. So we want to take a closer look at safety triangle. There is always a scale used to measure a particular thing, or there is always a standard that we always make reference to. So it's assumed that there is always risks of accidents associated with any field of human endeavor, and this can be totally ruled out if adequate measures are put in place for the safety of lives and property. Being safety conscious and the ability to manage hazards is key to a successful day-to-day running of our businesses at home and in our workplace. We'll be exposed to hazardous substances, situations. Your ability to manage them is key to the success of being safe or protecting accidents from happening in any industry that you find yourself. In our workplace, we can be exposed to different levels of hazards while working, including unsafe acts or unsafe condition. Before now, we showed you an example of an unsafe act or an unsafe condition. Then, after that, you can always be exposed to near misses or near miss, in which, if not, you were adequately you were aware of the impending dangers, and you maybe wear your PPE, you were fully kitted. Accident might have occurred, but maybe because of divine intervention, accident doesn't occur. So we always have near-miss situation, and we always have minor accidents. Then we can always have serious accidents, and we can always have fatality. So any hazard, or when we are talking about being exposed to hazardous substances or environment, it can be categorically grouped into these different levels. So for the safety of lives and properties, you must always learn to work on the safe condition. We should not even try working on an unsafe condition, let alone working in the near-miss condition. So always try to work in a safe condition. Going to the level of near-miss is dangerous. You might say, okay, it's not that dangerous, let me work, but we are trying to advise you that you should not even get close to the near-miss scenario. Then safety triangle. What do we mean by safety triangle, or what is the meaning of, how does safety triangle come about? So the safety triangle, some people call it the safety pyramid. Some people call it the Henrich triangle. Berg's triangle was propounded by Heinrich. He was the very first person that put this thing pictorially so that we can understand. And it is an imaginary model. It is an imaginary model that explains the ratio between workplace happening of varying degree of severity. So, like, if you look at this safety triangle, you can see somebody working in an unsafe act, somebody working in a near miss. The number of the occurrences that can happen, they differ. And before you get to the peak, that is death or fatality, you might have passed through each of these stages, but you were not conscious. You might have been in near miss condition. You might have worked in an unsafe environment. After that, you work in a near miss condition. And before you know it, there will be minor accidents. Before you know it, there will be serious accidents. And before you know it, it leads to fatality, which might result in death. So that is what the safety triangle is trying to depict. It is a model. It is a model that tries to explain the different levels we expose ourselves to when we are talking about safety. So always try to work on the bottom line. Don't even try the near miss, please. If you are working on site, if you know that this site needs scaffold, please don't try to cut corners. We know that erecting scaffold is very costly. Erecting scaffold is very costly. Most times, each time we go for installation and it's a one-story building, we ensure it is in our agreement that we have to erect scaffold. We don't use ladder again because of the impending risks involved. So we insist that we must use scaffold. So don't always try to cut costs, please. Human life is costly than anything that you can think of. So don't try to cut costs, because some people, while trying to cut costs, they get into serious problems that might lead to death or permanent disability. Had it been that you know that this thing is risky, you are not following safety standard, you would have at least know exactly what to do. So the safety triangle talks about the different levels of risks that we expose ourselves to: the unsafe acts, the near miss, the minor accidents, serious accidents, and death. So before it gets to this, the topmost parts, there would have been some indication, or you might have passed through all these levels before you get to the very last level. So traditionally, the ratio of the safety triangle is given as, we said that it was Heinrich that propounded this model, and the ratio is given as 1:10:30:60, which denotes one serious injury leading to fatality for every 10 minor injuries, every 30 accidents, and every 600 safety or near miss. What that means is, before you get to a scenario in which death might or will result of fatality, there would have been, or there might have been 60 near miss events, and there might have been minor accidents. You keep doing it, it doesn't matter. Or there might have been 10 serious accidents before you get to a point where you have one death occurring. So if you are working in a company, before somebody would be affected to the level of maybe the thing will result in death, there might have been lesser magnitude of accident that occurred. It might not be to one person. Maybe doing the same routine, each time you do it, accidents or near miss will occur, but you don't want to pay attention to it. Another person come and do it, the same thing results. So we are saying that there might have been 600 near miss, 30 minor accidents, 10 serious accidents that will eventually result in death. So before a particular accident or hazard happens, there should have been a corresponding hazard of lesser severity. That is what I have just explained. That means for you to have one hazard resulting in one serious injury, there should have been 30 minor injuries, 30 accidents, or 10 minor injuries, 30 accidents resulting in property damage, and 600 safety incidents or near miss. Accepting these premises or premise implies that we should always work from the bottom of the safety triangle. We have put the safety triangle before you because the same behavior that leads to near miss will eventually lead to serious injuries. That is what I've just explained. Safety triangle helps inform us that effective hazard control and safety triangle is key. Safety triangle helps us that inform us that effective hazard control and safety is key to accident reduction in our workplace. The safety triangle will always put you on the right frame of mind. The safety triangle will always put you on the right frame of mind that this thing that you are doing and this thing happened and you are not seriously affected, and you go ahead and do that same thing. You even went ahead and do things that are more dangerous than what you did before a minor accident occurred. If you keep on doing these things, serious accident will result. Then before you know it, an accident that will lead to fatality or death might occur. That is what the safety triangle is trying to portray. Accepting these premises implies that we should always work from the bottom of the safety triangle because the same behavior that leads to near miss will eventually lead to serious injuries. Safety triangle helps inform us that effective hazard control and safety is key to accident reduction in our workplace. In general, so irrespective of the industry that you are working in general, we say that each industry has its specific safety measures. In the oil company, they have their specific safety measures. In the carpentry profession, in the drilling profession, in the solar profession, in the electrical industry, conventional electrical installation. If you are a medical doctor, there are safety precautions you must always adhere to. So each industry has its specific safety measures and standard already put in place. Compliance to such safety measures is mandatory for the safety of lives and properties. Yes, for the safety of lives and properties, there are safety standards that are already put in place in every industry. So personal protective equipment such as safety shoes, safety helmets, reflective jackets, full body harness with permanent lifelines should be strictly mandatory for all workers, and that is what you have to always abide by. Never work on energized circuits or perform duties that you are not qualified for. In any industry, or if you are working in the power generation business, don't work on tasks that you are not qualified to work on. So never be nervous while working. Don't be intimidated. If you are tired, just go and rest. But don't never be intimidated. Don't be nervous while working. Always be very calm and cut off all forms of distraction. Don't be working on power lines. You are discussing politics. You are discussing this and that. You are discussing this. Focus, because anything can happen. Always be safety conscious. Understand your environment. Don't stretch or overload electrical cable. Minimize the use of damaged or joined cable. Some people are fond of joining cables. So we are saying you should do away with that. Avoid contact with exposed wires that are not insulated. We already said that. Avoid contact with wires that are not insulated. If you are working in an area where an electrical hazard is present, always assume that every electrical part are alive and act accordingly. Do not use conductive tools in the area. If you are cleaning the area, maybe you are a cleaner, note that some cleaning materials or agents are conductive as well and require additional caution. You have to be very cautious of the environment you are working. Solvents and water-based cleaning materials are electrically conductive, as are steel, wood, and metallized cloth. Keep these cleaning products as well as any conductive tools away from live electrical parts and equipment. Don't use wet hand to go and touch electrical circuits. It's dangerous. Please and please. The reason we bring this training is so that as you are working, you always protect your life, the life of your employees, your staff, the life of the equipment materials they are working with, the life of the facility, and the environment. So we have a template that the textbook cannot accommodate. We are saying that don't fail to get the PDF that is associated with this training, or the textbook, the A to Z of solar cable. The A to Z of this is just an extract of the A to Z of solar cable, in which you learn everything about solar cable, how to size solar cable, how to calculate voltage drop, because first of all you have to understand how to calculate voltage drop when you are using during power or energy transmission before you can think of sizing the solar cable. There are different types of loads. We have different types of loads, and the way you size cable or the way you calculate voltage, there are different formulas. The way you design or you size your solar cable for the different types of load differs. So inside of the A to Z of solar cable, we dwell on cable sizing extensively. So it is a textbook of its own. It is a textbook of its own. We urge you to avail yourself of the textbook. Get a copy of the textbook, either the soft copy or the hard copy, to learn about safety. It is our belief that if you happen to these points that we have listed here for you, your life will be protected, will be safe. The life of your staff, the life of the equipment, the environment as well will be protected. So we urge you to always be safety conscious when you are starting a project, when you are executing a project, when you are commissioning a project, and when you are maintaining a project.